I'm going to review and compare 4 minimalist style shoes that I have purchased and used, and what are my impressions of them. The first one I ever bought were this style, the Fila, with the little toes. And this is around the time, a couple of different books come out about barefoot running. And so this was the industry's way of responding to the barefoot running, because of course they want to completely support barefoot running because you don't have to pay for these things on the bottom of your legs. But they can make something like this that looks like a barefoot and perhaps make some money. And so suckers like me buy it, and I bought these shoes. And first time I went out running with them, I figured out there's a big problem with these shoes, and that is actually the toes. Having the open toes like this, it's nice in one way because it mimics the barefoot. But on the other hand, what happens is, see, the only reason you need to have a minimalist shoe as a runner in the first place is if you're going in terrain that you can't use your barefoot feet for. If you're not a runner and you just want the barefoot experience walking, which I support as well, then the big problem with this shoe is it's not very pretty. Like, you wear this shoe with your normal everyday clothes or your business suit or whatever, and it looks weird. And so it just doesn't fly in terms of appearance. Now I know, like, this was an early rendition of the idea of making a minimalist shoe with toes. So I know that the technology is a little bit better now than it was then. But the problem is, even today, they still got the separated toes. And the problem that I have with that is, as a runner, if I'm going to wear a shoe, it's going to be because I'm going on on a terrain, whether it be gravel or whether it be cross country, where it's not safe to have my bare feet, or not comfortable to have my bare feet. And in that case, what happens with these toes, and this is what I found out right away, is that you get junk caught in between the toes. You get gravel caught in between the toes. You get grass, bunches up in between the toes, and pretty soon you're running with a grass foot, or you've got stuff, just whatever crud between your toes that's bothering you, and you gotta stop and separate these, because even though it's nice that it looks like a toe and everything, it doesn't act like a toe. Like, if I'm running with my bare feet and I get something caught in my foot, I just do a little action with my feet and knock whatever it is loose, and it's no problem. But with this, it doesn't work that way. Really, especially long grass and stuff gets clumped up in here really bad, and it sucks. So I used those one time for running and realized it's not going to do what I want it to do, for the purpose that I want. And so then in terms of functionality for me, this became my water shoe. When I'm going in the river or something like that, it's fantastic. I love it. It doesn't have, it's got flexibility right here in the, I don't know what you call that part of your foot. That's where it's most flexible. And up toward the toes, you get a little bit of flexibility. But in between, where these blue parts are, you don't get a lot of flexibility. And I don't know why they built it like that, because that's not, how your foot works. And if it's supposed to replicate the barefoot experience, it definitely doesn't. I find this, out of all of the shoes I'm going to review today, this one, this Fila, is much more stiff, much more like wearing a cast on your foot, and even worse, a cast that collects junk as you move about. I wouldn't buy these. I wouldn't even buy them for water shoes. I'm going to give you a better option at the end of this review. So this stuff, scrap it. I only save mine because I paid for it, and I'm just going to wear it in the water till it wears out. But that's the Fila. Alright, the next kind of minimalist shoe that I bought is the Feiyue, which is a Chinese shoe made I think by Tiger Claw for Kung Fu. A lot of parkour artists, free runners and that have picked up on it as well. Actually it's a really nice, it's like Chuck Converse style high top canvas. It's got this rubber bottom that's kind of like a gumboot style rubber bottom. But what's really nice is that there's no arch support and junk in here, and it's very, very flexible all the way through. I mean, it's just tons of flexibility there. And the first time I wore it, what it reminded me of was a moccasin. You know, that's how it felt like to me, as a moccasin. And so I fell in love with these shoes. One of the things that happens, they don't last very long, but they're only $24 a pair, so you know, it's not like a huge investment. They don't last too long, especially if you're running around and stuff like I do. What happens is the rubber on the bottom ends up wearing out pretty quick. Usually it'll like last me a season, basically, a winter or a summer, which is fine. So you end up paying $50 a year for shoes if you're just going to use these shoes all the time. And I do mostly use them all the time, except I haven't, like, this is my summer pair, and it's barely used this year because I've been going far more just the barefoot and forget about the shoes altogether. Plus I wear, if I'm gonna wear a shoe in the summer, a lot of times I'll wear a sandal. So this will probably end up lasting me the whole year and going through the winter as well this time around. I do like it, you know, in general, as a wear around with everything kind of shoe. If you're wearing jeans, or if you're wearing, you know, casual pants or something like that, these Feiyues don't look bad. You know, these can function as an everyday kind of a shoe. You know, unless you're like really in a business suit, then they're not gonna serve the purpose of a barefoot style, minimalist style shoe. In that case, if you're in a business suit, then what I recommend is Vivo Barefoot. I'm making that recommendation without ever having worn their shoes, but I've watched some reviews by some parkourists that I trust, and they highly recommend the Vivo. I haven't bought a pair of Vivo because they're expensive through the roof, and I don't need them when I have Feiyue, and I don't wear business suits, so I don't gotta worry about getting any more classy than this. So as it stands, I always have a brand new pair of Feiyue unopened in my closet, waiting for me to rip a hole in the one that I'm wearing. And when that happens, and I've ripped it through, and it's not so usable anymore, then I chuck them, use my new ones, get online, order a new pair. So I've got another pair in the closet, waiting for 6 months or whatever for me to rip that one up. So I highly recommend this shoe. I think, you know, pretty much over any other shoe that I'm going to talk about today, I recommend the Feiyue. I really am pleased with the Feiyue. However, I will say that as a runner, running in the Feiyue is not as comfortable as something like this. It's not bad, but it's not a running shoe. It's not designed as a running shoe. I just multi-purpose it as such. But, you know, if your sole purpose is looking for a minimalist running shoe, you might want to check out the Nike Free 5.0. Maybe. I bought this pair. I've only used it once so far. I took a good long run in it. I didn't wear socks. I just went barefoot because I wanted to see what it would happen to my feet in this shoe right out of the package. And actually it wasn't bad. I thought it would rip my feet to shreds, and it didn't. I got a little blister on my pinky toes on both sides, but otherwise it was good. It's a very lightweight shoe. Of course, it's designed as a minimalist shoe, so they have a different kind of sole that's all in hexagons that are sliced through so that the sole can separate from itself and be pretty darn flexible. It doesn't have a lot of, crazy arch support. It has some. It has more arch support than any of these other shoes that I'm showing you, and I don't really appreciate the arch support myself, but I can work with it if I have to. It's not it's not like my foot just absolutely hates the arch support, but I would rather, if they had a shoe, if Nike made this shoe and didn't have arch support, I'd buy the one without it. But yeah, I did a full review right after my run on the Nike Free 5.0 and recommend it. It is it is way more expensive than any of these other shoes. This runs like 120 bucks, I think I paid for mine. And I don't know how long it'll last, but in terms of comfort for running, I enjoyed it. Also, like the Feiyue, if you need something to wear around with jeans or casual clothes, the Nike's not going to look bad. So, and it comes in all different kind of colors. I like the aqua green, but it comes in nice like solid blacks or blues. Comes in red. You got a lot of color options to choose from, and some of them work better with the wider variety of clothes than others. But certainly for a runner, and if you're just looking for a minimalist runner shoe, the Nike Free 5.0, I've tried it, and to me it works pretty good. Now I know there's other companies out there right now that are making good running shoes for minimalist runners. I haven't tried all those products, so I can't really do the comparison, but I have tried the Nike and I like the Nike. So that's that. But when you add it up against the other shoes I've already talked about, the Nike is almost 5 times more expensive than the Feiyue. I don't know if it'll last longer. I think it probably will, but 5 times longer. And this is pretty like thin webwork material most of the way around the shoe. Of course you got canvas on the Feiyue, but it snows a lot here. I can walk around with these gumfoot boot type bottoms and I don't get any wetness in my feet. I don't know if the Nike's going to do that or not. I'll have to wait and see in the winter. I haven't tried it in the winter yet. Certainly beats the heck out of this Fila garbage. So yeah, there's the Nike. Okay, so then I have the Nike and I have the Feiyue and I like them both and everything, but I bought this hydration pack because I wanted to be able to run out and be gone for a while, do some obstacle training and this kind of thing on the run, and be barefoot. But I wanted a shoe that I could stuff into the hydration pack along with my water and everything, so that if I did encounter terrain where my barefoot was not enough, then I'd have a shoe that I could slip on for that terrain and then take it off when I'm off of that terrain. And so the hydration pack, and because you want to go especially light, the hydration packs are built very slim and very sleek and all of this, and really to stuff the Nikes in there or the Feiyue is too much to ask of that hydration pack. So I looked around and I bought a water shoe. These were $15. It's made by Deep Sea, S-E-E, and I just went into my local outdoor store, which is called Atmosphere, where they sell camping equipment and hiking, rock climbing equipment, that kind of stuff, and scuba gear. And I bought these Deep Seas, and these Deep Seas fold up flat, so I can put the two of them together, and basically it's just like stuffing a pair of moccasins into the hydration pack. It fits very nicely. This is made out of like wetsuit material, so you can take it in the water. It's gonna be fine. It's a water shoe. That's what it's made for. It's got a rubber bottom for walking on the algae, slick rocks and that kind of thing. And it's very, very super bendy. more bendy than any of my shoes, even the Feiyue. Bendy. So I have used this shoe twice to test it out. One time I went on a long, this was just recently, this was just earlier this week actually, I went on a long outdoor obstacle training on the run. I think I did about 10-12 kilometers plus obstacles, plus swimming rivers, running on all kinds of terrain. And I wore these for the parts that couldn't be barefoot, and they worked fantastic. I loved them. They didn't give me any discomfort, nothing like that. And when I got on the terrain that was rough, these things took the impact off of that terrain real easy. There is no arch support in here. It's just kind of a cushioned sole, and yeah, they work fantastic. I also used them last month to climb a mountain, the largest and most prominent mountain on the eastern face of the Rockies where I live, called Chief Mountain. It's a very famous mountain, and the terrain there is super rough, crazy rough. And I thought I was going to go barefoot the whole way. That was my original plan. But when I got out there, the terrain was so rough, I decided to slip these on. I put these in my pack just in case, and they worked fantastic. I climbed the whole mountain. I was out there for 3 days mountain climbing in the roughest terrain of the Rocky Mountains, and these things were awesome. And I had this, it felt like I was doing it in bare feet the whole time, because it feels like wearing a moccasin. It's great. So and this is the thing. This is possible to get by wearing this with other everyday clothes too, although it kind of has the same kind of, not quite as goofy as the Fila, but it's getting close because people look at it and think that's a kind of a weird shoe. So I'm not really advocating it for that. I'm going to keep buying my Feiyues to use for when I'm at work and that kind of thing, and I can't be wearing sandals like in the winter. But I do highly recommend these deep sea shoes. In fact, if I had bought these before I bought the Nike Free 5.0s, I probably would have never bought the Nike Free 5.0s for myself, because this does everything that I was looking for in a minimalist shoe that I can run in. It feels very comfortable. It feels like I'm running in my bare feet, but protects my feet on those rough terrain surfaces, and it packs away far more nicely than these. So, which shoe to buy? Don't buy the Fila. Don't buy any of those things that have the toes. That's just my opinion. If you got the money to spend and you're just interested in the running shoe, the Nike is good. It's good. It's not quite as bendy in the back part, but the whole front end of it, most of the way down the shoe is pretty bendy. I don't know. It didn't feel like you're like running in bare feet per se, but it was a minimalist feeling to it. Both of these feel like running in bare feet, and running in a high top is not really as comfortable as running with the low cut. So if you're just looking for a very inexpensive minimalist running shoe, I would just get a pair of water shoes. That's my opinion. Just buy a pair of water shoes. If you're looking for something that you can do a variety of different activities in, and in a variety of different social contexts, and you want to have the minimalist experience, then I would go with the Feiyue. Okay, so my personal combination is going to be these these two kind of shoes for the future until I run into something that beats either of them, and I don't know if I will. I already have the Nikes, so I'm going to wear these to, till they fall apart, running them occasionally until they shred. But I probably won't buy the Nike again, knowing that something like this is out there to combine with my regular Feiyue is a good set of minimalist running equipment and everyday wear. So that's my review. Hope that helps somebody in making the important purchases to try to enhance their minimalist footwear lifestyle.